So in this video, I want to give you a very specific step-by-step process you can follow in probably 5 minutes or less that can help you to instantly shift your outlook on your life and be able to genuinely be more grateful for what's in your life. If you're anything like me, a lot of the positive mindset stuff out there, positive mental attitude stuff out there, it doesn't really resonate with me. Like it's hard for me to connect with it. It's it doesn't always work, right? Like focus on what you're grateful for. I think that's one of those things that if you do it consistently long enough over time, it does begin to work to shift your overall mood and perspective. I know that from experience because I've done consistent long term gratitude practices and exercises, and that does work, but you have to work on it, at least in my experience. However, what I'm going to give you right now is something that you can apply quickly and it'll work. And that is what psychologists call mental subtraction. So check this out. And this is actually one of the most scientifically proven to be one of the most scientifically effective ways to genuinely feel gratitude. And Dr. Benjamin Hardy does a brilliant job of actually discussing mental subtraction in his book, The Gap versus the Gain, if you want to do any further reading on this. So, mental subtraction is actually picturing something and then imagining that you don't have it in your life anymore, right? So, picture something that you kind of like know you should be grateful for, right? A relationship, a client, a sibling, family member, a friend, whatever it might be, your current home, etc. But instead of trying to be grateful for it, imagine that you no longer have it, that it's gone, that it either never came into your life or that suddenly you lose it. And what happens is by imagining the loss of it, you actually knock yourself into a position of being much more grateful for it without having to try to force gratitude. I think it's almost like we're already so bloody good at being negative. It's like nobody ever had to teach us how to be negative, pessimistic, right? Cynical, etc. We're almost like so good at it that it doesn't take any work really to imagine a bad scenario. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like it comes more naturally to us than to imagine a positive scenario. And in doing that, I feel like by harnessing kind of almost our natural proclivity to negativity, it creates a vacuum of, oh, shoot, what would it be like if I'd lost that? Or if it wasn't in my life anymore? An exercise that you can follow mentally, but it helps if you add in writing on paper, is the following. Pick any one thing, right, that you either feel like you should be grateful for or that you feel like you're taking for granted, right? Write that thing down. And then the next thing you do, or if you're thinking it through, imagine or write out that it's actually gone from your life and imagine how that would impact your life. So let's say a romantic relationship, a spouse, a significant other. Imagine that they died today, or they had died yesterday, or that they had died a year ago, or that you had never met them. They actually had never come into your life. So the way this works is truly imagine what it would be like for that thing, the person, the experience, whatever it might be, to actually what kind of impact would it actually have on your life to lose it out of your life? How would that change your life? How would your day-to-day life be different? If it had never come into your life, what kind of experiences, moments, opportunities that you did have would you not have in your past? right? Well, how would life be different moving forward without that? You see what I'm saying? Now, what you get to do is then in the next step, writing or imagining, imagine now picture that thing again and actually think of all the things that you're genuinely now grateful for about that. And what happens is that by coming out of this vacuum of, oh, what if I'd lost it? Or what if I'd never had it? Or what if it was gone right now? That natural, like that, by creating that vacuum of loss, you'll naturally be like, oh man, I actually really do like that. I really do want that. I really am grateful for it. You'll find yourself to be genuinely much more grateful for that thing, right? And then when it's time to kind of rebuild and restack your genuine appreciation for it, it's not going to be forced. Because if you're anything like me, sometimes when you try to be grateful for something, it's almost like there's a resistance to being grateful. I don't know how to explain it, but it can be there. But when I imagine losing something, there's an immediate vacuum of, that would suck, right? It's like if you're not grateful for the home that you're in, right? Well, imagine not having it at all, right? If you're not grateful for the car that you have, imagine not having it at all, right? If you're upset or if you're not grateful for your body, imagine it not working the way it is working less. Maybe you don't have the use of your legs or your arms or something else is going on. You see what I'm saying? Your sibling, I have three younger siblings. We're all grown adults now. But if a younger sibling of mine is ever annoying me, I can always just imagine what a life would be like if they had died a year ago or 2 years ago, or if they'd never been in my life. And that immediately fills me with a sense of sadness. And then a deep appreciation for, I love them, I'm happy that they're in my life. Before going into a difficult conversation with a girlfriend, a boyfriend, husband, or wife, take a moment in private to imagine what life would be like if you had never met them and never come into your life. And if you feel like it'd be better off, then maybe that's a sign of something else you should do. Leave. but in general, you're going to find that you're actually super grateful for them, genuinely. And that maybe a lot of the stuff that you're feeling frustrated about is actually you projecting on your own upsetness on them about something you've got going on. And it'll actually help you to communicate better. So mental subtraction, right? Instead of trying to focus a fake positivity or a fake gratitude, if there's resistance to it, then just go with how we're naturally wired to be negative. Imagine that it's gone, dead, never showed up. Now really think about that. And I'm telling you, what'll happen is you'll get it'll create this natural vacuum where like, oh, no, I do want that in my life. I am happy for that in my life. Jen, no, I really am happy for that. Man, life would suck if I'd lost that, or if this was lost, or if I'd never had that. Okay, yeah, no, I'm happy for it. Because the reality is, and a lot of the mystics and the teachers teach us this, is if you're not grateful for what you do have, you're never going to create the life that you say you want. And if you're having a hard time being grateful for what you do have, imagine that you don't have it anymore or never had it. It's like people will work harder to move away from something negative than to move towards something good. The way I heard this once explained is that you'll work harder to keep somebody from stealing $100,000 that you already have than to go get an additional $100,000. Earn it, make it, whatever. And I've also found in my life with myself and with coaching others and working with entrepreneurs and clients is that this is true. People will work harder to get away from something bad or make something bad not happen than to get towards something good, ironic as that is. And so in this mental subtraction exercise, we're harnessing that natural instinct to fight harder for getting away from bad things or preemptively stopping something bad versus working towards something good. And yet, kind of interestingly, by using mental subtraction to imagine a bad scenario, you actually then end up naturally, by default, moving closer towards a good posture or state or position within on the thing that you're thinking about. So try it out and see for yourself if suddenly a genuine, true, natural gratitude doesn't just kick in automatically, and you're actually truly genuinely grateful for whatever it is that you're taking for granted or maybe frustrated about right now, instead of that phony, fake, I'm grateful type stuff that seems to permeate self-help circles, but we all know we're just bullshitting ourselves. Try this out. Let me know how it goes.